18 longest life imprisonment sentences in history. 18. Ariel Castro, 1 life sentence plus 1,000 years. Ariel Castro shocked the world when police discovered he had kidnapped 3 women and held them captive inside his Cleveland home for over a decade. Michelle Knight, Amanda Berry, and Gina DeJesus were abducted between 2002 and 2004, and for years they endured unimaginable abuse. Castro chained them, locked doors with makeshift barricades, and repeatedly assaulted them. One of the women even gave birth to his child inside the house. In 2013, Amanda Berry managed a daring escape and flagged down a neighbor, leading to their rescue and Castro's arrest. Facing 937 criminal counts, including kidnapping, rape, and aggravated murder for forcing miscarriages, Castro accepted a plea deal. The court sentenced him to life in prison without parole, plus 1,000 years, ensuring he would never walk free. Just a month after entering prison, Castro was found dead in his cell, the official report ruling it a suicide, a grim end to one of America's most disturbing crimes. 17. Brian Cage, 1 life sentence plus 1248 years. Brian Carl Cage's case in Virginia stands out as one of the longest sentences ever handed down in U.S. history. In 2017, detectives came to his home with a warrant connected to child pornography investigations. Instead of cooperating, Cage opened fire, wounding an officer. When authorities finally subdued him, they uncovered evidence tying him to hundreds of counts of sexual exploitation of children, along with the violent assault on law enforcement. His trial revealed a pattern of disturbing criminal behavior, and the jury found him guilty on 144 charges. The judge delivered a staggering punishment: 1 life sentence plus 1,148 years and 30 days. Each count was stacked consecutively, making it mathematically impossible for him to ever be released. The courtroom heard the judge's words clearly. Cage's actions showed utter disregard for law and human dignity, and the sentence reflected the enormity of his crimes. 16. Devin Erickson, 1 life sentence plus 1,282 years. In 2019, 18-year-old Devin Erickson and accomplice Alec McKinney opened fire at STEM School Highlands Ranch in Colorado. The attack left 1 student, Kendrick Castillo, dead and 8 others injured. Castillo's brave act of charging at the shooters allowed many of his classmates to escape. Erickson was arrested at the scene, while McKinney, who was just 16 at the time, later testified against him. Prosecutors accused Erickson of planning the shooting for weeks, targeting a classroom with students he knew. In 2021, a Colorado jury found him guilty on 46 charges, including first-degree murder, attempted murder, and weapons violations. The judge handed down a sentence of life without parole, plus 1,282 years, one of the longest in American history, to ensure he could never be released. 15. James Alex Fields, Jr., 2 life sentences, plus 419 years. James Alex Fields, Jr. became infamous in August 2017 during the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. Fields, who had long expressed neo-Nazi sympathies, drove his car at high speed into a crowd of counter-protesters. The attack killed 32-year-old Heather Heyer and left dozens injured. Video of the moment spread worldwide, sparking outrage and debate about the rise of extremist violence in America. Fields fled the scene but was quickly arrested by police. He initially tried to argue self-defense, but evidence, including his online history and witnesses, proved the act was deliberate. In 2019, a federal court sentenced him to 2 life terms, plus 419 years for hate crimes, resulting in death and bodily injury. The judge stressed that Fields had acted with calculated cruelty, and the sentence guaranteed he would never again endanger the public. 14. Dudley Wayne Kaiser, 2 life sentences, plus 10,000 years. In 1976, Dudley Wayne Kaiser of Alabama committed one of the state's most brutal crimes. On Halloween night, he shot and killed his ex-wife, Diane, along with her mother and a college student who happened to be visiting the house. Prosecutors said the murders were motivated by rage after Diane divorced him. Kaiser was convicted of capital murder and originally sentenced to death, but when Alabama's death penalty statute was overturned, his punishment was changed. In 1981, a court resentenced him to 2 life terms plus 10,000 years in prison, one of the longest sentences ever recorded at the time. Despite this, Kaiser became eligible for parole multiple times, stirring outrage from the victims' families. Each request was denied, and he ultimately died in prison in 2015 at the age of 70. His sentence still stands as one of the most symbolic displays of judicial severity in U.S. history. 13. Rayshon Mullins, 6 life sentences, plus 1,150 years. Rayshon Mullins, from Georgia, received one of the harshest sentences in state history after being convicted in 2001. Court records show Mullins and an accomplice committed a string of violent crimes, including armed robbery, aggravated assault, and multiple counts of rape and kidnapping. Evidence revealed that Mullins was the ringleader, orchestrating attacks that terrorized his victims. A jury found him guilty on 54 felony counts, and the judge did not hesitate to stack the punishments. Mullins was sentenced to 6 consecutive life terms plus an additional 1,150 years behind bars. The extraordinary sentence was designed to eliminate even the slightest possibility of parole, ensuring he would spend the rest of his days locked away. 12. Dylann Roof, 9 life sentences, plus 95 years. Dylann Roof carried out one of the deadliest racially motivated attacks in modern U.S. history. On June 17, 2015, he entered Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church in Charleston, South Carolina, and sat with parishioners during a Bible study before opening fire. 9 black worshipers were murdered in the massacre. Roof admitted he carried out the shooting to ignite a race war, leaving behind a manifesto filled with white supremacist ideology. In federal court, he was convicted on 33 counts of hate crimes, obstruction of religion, and firearms charges. He received 9 life sentences plus 95 years, but that wasn't the end. A separate federal jury also sentenced him to death, making Roof the first person in U.S. history to be sentenced to execution for federal hate crimes. He is currently on federal death row in Terre Haute, Indiana, awaiting appeals. His case remains one of the starkest examples of extremist violence in America. 11. James Holmes, 12 life sentences, plus 318 years. James Holmes became infamous as the gunman behind the 2012 Aurora, Colorado movie theater massacre. On July 20th, during a midnight premiere of The Dark Knight Rises, Holmes entered the crowded theater, armed with multiple firearms, and opened fire, killing 12 people and injuring 70 more. Police arrested him outside the theater within minutes, finding his car full of more weapons and explosives. At trial, his defense argued insanity, but jurors rejected the claim, holding him fully responsible for the carnage. In 2015, Holmes was sentenced to 12 consecutive life sentences without parole, plus an additional 3,318 years for attempted murder and explosives charges. The sentence guaranteed he would never leave prison alive. Today, Holmes is incarcerated at a high-security federal prison, where he remains one of the most infamous mass shooters in American history. 10. Chester Stiles, 21 life sentences. Chester Stiles was convicted of some of the most disturbing crimes imaginable, involving the sexual abuse of a 2-year-old girl that he filmed and distributed. Authorities uncovered his crimes after police obtained a videotape showing the abuse, which quickly led to a nationwide search for the man behind it. For months, Stiles managed to evade capture, but he was eventually tracked down and arrested in Nevada in 2007 after a routine traffic stop revealed his true identity. During his trial, prosecutors presented overwhelming evidence of his actions, and in 2009, he was sentenced to 21 life terms in prison. The judge ruled that he would not even be eligible for parole for 140 years, making it virtually impossible for him to ever walk free. Stiles's case gained widespread media attention not only because of the shocking nature of his crimes, but also due to the way he attempted to disappear after the tape surfaced. He showed no remorse and complained about his sentence being too harsh. He said, "The child didn't remember a thing. Yet I'm to die in prison, so legislation dictates that a child's virtue is more important than life itself." Watch part 2 for number 9 to 1 of this list.